Just a second, but I want to get to Greg Burke, who is standing up for us live from Turkey. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Harris. I'm in Rome right now. I was woken up a little bit early. That's because at 3:30 a.m. we actually felt those tremors in Rome as well, absolutely just shaking in bed. So you knew it was strong, and then when you found out that the epicenter was some 60 miles away from Rome, really gave you an idea of just how bad and how strong that quake was. As you've been saying, so many of the buildings just crumbling. You know, that was a town that basically finished in the year 1200. It's certainly not modern construction, although Italy is very much earthquake prone. Those ancient buildings obviously are not ready to bend, and a lot of them just over time crumble, and that's certainly what happened. They're talking about some 10,000 to 15,000 buildings that are unsafe to go back into, 50,000 people out of their homes. Harris?
My goodness, and I know I said you were in Turkey. I must have just had my brain on what we were talking about. Please forgive me. I know that you're outside of Rome, in Aquila, I believe it's pronounced. Tell me a little bit about what is going on in terms of finding anybody who might be missing this morning, because I understand, Greg, that people were looking for like air pockets in some of the buildings that had fallen and kind of rescuing themselves.
Yeah, no, there's there are dogs going through. There's still the official death toll. The latest we heard was 50, although there have just been more recent media reports almost doubling that. I don't think we want to go with that yet until that does get confirmed. But obviously, those numbers are rising. And as you say, a lot of people just buried underneath the rubble. It happened about 3:30 a.m. local, so obviously the first several hours were just total confusion between the dark and the cold. This is actually a mountain town. It's a lot colder or cooler. Rome's absolutely warm and beautiful spring, but Aquila is a mountain town and actually very bitterly cold in the winter and still a little bit cold at this time. The first hour is very, very tough, and also tough getting to it because it's in the mountains and because damage also done to the roads and the bridges.
Well, and you know, I understand today too, they're going to have to, with all of the aftershocks that are sure to follow. I know they had some I guess you call them tremblers, pre-shocks. They're going to have to go through all those buildings to, as you said, shut down as many as 15,000. What are they going to do with all those people?
Well, exactly. They've been through this before. Back in 1997 in Umbria, around the area of Assisi, a famous church, the Basilica, St. Francis of Assisi, heavy damage done there. Actually, people were killed inside that church because of an aftershock of an earthquake that happened like this during the night, and then people go in and check the damage. Some were killed. And at that point, they end up building a lot of container towns, you know. For the first part, the emergency services come up and they live in tents, and then they build some container towns until things can get rebuilt, and that could take a couple years. But they will send some people out of the region as well, I think, too, because, as you say, until they're sure that those buildings are safe, they won't let people back in. So at least for a few weeks, in many of them, they'll be out.
I know I have to let you go soon, but before I do, I understand that their university, because there was a dormitory that collapsed. There are a number of students that are in that area, Aquila, as well, right?
That's right. They have a very good engineering school, and a lot of people go up there to study there. It's basically a sort of mix, because Aquila is a sort of pastoral area, sort of shepherds. You think of it, it's known for sort of very hearty food, but at the same time does have a good university, especially engineering. And one of the buildings that did collapse was a student dorm. Wow,
the engineering school. I mean, I never like to say the word irony, but I think it certainly applies here. It's so sad to hear this, and around the world, you know, it's such a beautiful place for people to come and visit. I hope with all our hearts here on our panel that they can get things together very quickly here and salvage some of those historic buildings. I understand that the city's historic center pretty much is demolished.
Yeah, there was one of the churches, too. The dome just absolutely caved in, you know, and you see a lot of the damage on the old buildings. Very, very serious stuff.
All right. Greg Burke, thank you so much, reporting from Aquila, Italy today, about 50 to 60 miles outside of Rome. Our best from America to those people. Stay safe, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow.